What's up, guys? Chasing Lamey here with episode number 4 of our American Dream with Haas on the F1 Manager 23 game. And in today's episode, we are going to Azerbaijan, which is going to be a nice Grand Prix for us. Hopefully, we're doing some designing work. We've just had our new chassis designed. I've just had it put on a cheeky build. Also building a new rear wing, which should help give us some straight line speed. But we do need to spend a little bit more cash before we get any further into the season. We need to design some parts. That's going to be quite important. So we are looking to add some more top speed. I think the car was where we were at. We are still very much lacking in top speed, so I think it's going to be an underfloor. That's going to be step one for us. I think we're really only going to do 2 parts today, so we can afford to be somewhat conservative. Well, I say conservative. We can afford to minimise our usage of our wind tunnel and CFD. We'll use it all up, I should say. You know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to get across. Right, let's maximise the high-speed performance. Hopefully we can do that. Drag reduction needs to go massively up, because that will help us. I'm not worried about low-speed cornering so much, but if I can negate that, all the better. I think that's going to be it. Dirty air tolerance, I think we need to actually work on as well. In fact, I'm going to sacrifice that low speed on the low speed cornering, because it's going to help us so much with everything else. In fact, that is a perfect balance. Yes, it won't last long, but when it does last, it will boost us up the grid. We will be the 11th fastest team in a straight line, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is actually quite a lot. We're going to go intense with it, I think. I'm trying to think how much cash that's going to leave us. Not enough, but does mean the next time we do that, we are going to get a better one. We'll do that because we should get some more cash coming in before the next race anyway, because that's just how this thing works. Right, let's carry on forward, shall we? Let's just get that done. We will carry on with our season. We have a new regulation vote. That's going to be tasty. We're also going to put some new parts on the cars before the race. I've just left it that way, so I don't forget. Underfloor extended deadline. It's going to take longer than we first thought, or we can pay overtime and get it done on the 4th of... I kind of need it. So we're going to pay the over... In fact, 10 days. I think we'll just change the deadline. I think that's fine, actually. We'll go with that. We don't need to spend the money unnecessarily, especially when money is so very, very tight at Haas at the moment. So we've got a new regulation for minor technical changes. What's this going to do? The minor ones, I think we're going to vote for minor ones, because we can overcome that and we should be in a good position. I think we'll go with the minor ones, because moderate ones seem like they'd be too far. So that's what we'll go with. We'll see what results we get. Getting an achievement for voting, good stuff. Nice things. There should always be achievements in life voting. Our pit crew is exhausted. Well, I'm aware of that, but also there's some time between now and the next race, so I'm not going to stress too much over that. And hopefully it will all work out just fine for us. That is sort of what I was thinking. I did do a pit crew training thing. How do you get into the pit crew training now? Is this one? Yeah, I did a pit crew training schedule. They are going to come back on the just under the half fatigue side. We're going to have to be a bit more cautious with them, I think, in May. But for now, we just want to get those pit stop times down, because we have the slowest pit stops on the grid, and that's not necessary. We'll have a research period opening and new voting regulations appearing. That could be magical. Oh, Pietro Fittipaldi's got to be a better driver. I've not been using it because it crashes the game, but it's nice to know that he is there and improving in the background. Let's have a look, see what our research period's gone. Voting wise, everyone has gone in favour of minor regulations, which is good. Oh wait, no, we're getting major, moderate regulation changes, I think. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. So the big teams have done their thing and had their say and annihilated us. Good stuff. Okay, we're going to have to do more work on our team. Scouting is going to complete on a couple of drivers. Manufacture of our rear wing is complete. That's beautiful too. But Juan Manuel Correa, of course, we're looking at because we want him to be our American driver, our de facto American driver. He's got an average development rate. That seems very harsh on Juan Manuel Correa. Let's see what they're saying about Brad Benavides, the other driver we have scouted. See, he's got a high development. Okay, we might have to go for Brad Benavides at the end of the season if he qualifies. He should qualify at the end of the season to be our new test driver, which I think is probably a good move. In fact, while we've got some scouting to do, let's see the other American drivers. I wish there was a way to filter by nationality. That would be really helpful, because that would stop me having to remember who is an American driver and who isn't. Right, I know Hunter Yaney is an American driver. We'll go with Hunter Yaney. Find him, Hunter Yaney, will give him a little scout, because, as I said, I want to have a fully American team with which to try and chase the title. I think that'll be a really good thing for us. Is Jack Crawford American? I feel like he is. He is good. There we go. We'll scout Jack Crawford as well and see what he looks like going forward too, because that will be really useful knowledge for us. Right, what else is in the inbox is important? Just that we've done the scouting on Brad Benavides that we knew about. We'll get the rear wing on the car before the race. Don't you panic. It will be on the car. We will be fine. We've got low stock of those chassis, but we have got a third one in development, so I'm not overly worried about that one. Let's see if we've actually got that ready and built, so I can put that on the cars. That would be nice. Let's do a swap out of the chassis for chassis number 3. Beautiful stuff. I can put it on both cars already. Magical. We can have a good look at where our car is going to be for Baku. That should be helpful. I don't know if I've actually built a new front wing yet. I usually have by this stage, but we'll find out. Let's see how that looks in terms of our car performance. We are 10th on the grid now for top speed and 7th for DRS effectiveness. That's going to help us immensely. What about in the swapping out of the front wing? Well, okay, it failed. What failed? You failed inspection? I don't understand. Replace the car part. Okay. That's less failed. Good. Right. Side pods. Let's make sure nothing there has failed too, because that'll be important. There's no failure notice there. There's no failure notice here. And hopefully no failure notice on this one. Doesn't look like there will be. No, we're all good. Okay, so suspension might not last the entirety of the race after Baku, which I can't even remember what it is. Canada or Monaco, I forget. Let's have a look so we know where we're going after Baku, because that's going to be important. We'll go to Miami. There we go. I knew it was somewhere useful. Idle engineers. We do have idle engineers. We also don't have any more money coming in, so that's important. Let's see what we can develop, just because we are about to run out of ATR period before the race, and it would be nice if we could get something else built with them. Let's have a look, see what's cheap. What is cheapest to design? That's the next question. Chassis is cheapest to design, but I feel like we've done enough chassis work for a year, but it is the only thing we can afford to design. So I guess we'll do another chassis. Why not? Just to say we've thrown everything we can at it, that'll be fine. And hopefully we'll get something good from doing this. So in terms of car performance, we are looking for gaining drag reduction. In fact, let's just do the high speed or high race performance, or whatever it is. One, race performance. Okay, good stuff. Right, let's drop the lifespan down, so we are maintaining our total extra weight being as low as possible. I would like that to. Engine cooling is going to be beneficial, I think. There's not a lot I can do with that. I don't think that will help. Will that help with that? Not really. Not in a tremendously exciting fashion. Is that going to give us more top speed? No. Not at all. I'm not massively fussed about anything else. Airflow middle might be what will help us a little bit. That's a good all-round game. There's no losses there, so we'll do that. That will work out for us. And we'll put our 5 engineers on that. That should come around quite quickly. We're not going to be able to afford to intensely do it, unfortunately. But we can afford to do a normal one, and that will hopefully give us a little bit more speed coming up through the season, which will be quite helpful. Right, let's carry on forward, because we are very, very close to getting ourselves to the practice session. We have a sponsorship obligation, which is always a nightmare, because it means something stops building for a little while. But it did bring a little bit more cash, so we won't say fully no to it. We'll say, okay, good stuff. Right, Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the Red Bull team are leading the Constructors' Championship by 38 points, and Max Verstappen's leading by 9 points in the Drivers' Championship. That's something I guess none of us are surprised by. We need to look at the circuit info for strategy for today, because that's going to be really important. Otherwise, it's a 51 lapper. I want to look at the car analysis before I do race targets, because I want to see where we're at for this particular track. Car performance rank on grid was what I was going for. Okay, so we're 11th, 5th. That's probably the same for both cars, realistically. Can't imagine what one car is favoured over the other. So the 11th and 12th fastest car, I think we're going to say 11th and 12th. I'm not going to promise Q3 if I can avoid it. Reach Q2, I think, is a good enough thing we can guarantee. I think quali position, we're going to say both cars in the top 13, because let's give them a room to fail. Shall I say our car in Q3 just in case? Why not? One car in Q3. Let's give it a go. Do I want to guarantee a fast? I feel like guaranteeing a fastest lap feels risky. It's not really worth the money, I don't think, because we're not in a position to absolutely guarantee that. Right, I'm going to go to Baku. I will see you after qualifying. So, Quali for 3 is booked in and done on what I forgot was a sprint weekend. So we're going to have 2 races today, which might make this an extra long episode. Charles Leclerc takes pole, Max Verstappen in second, Sainz in third, Perez in fourth. 2 Astons take up the third row with Alonso just ahead of Stroll. And Hamilton and Russell for Mercedes take up the fourth row. We've got Nico Hülkenberg into ninth. We did get that bonus somehow with Pierre Gasly starting in 10th. We've got Magnussen in 11th, Norris in 12th, Ocon in 13th, Tsunoda in 14th, Albon in 15th, De Vries doing very well in 16th, Sargent in 17th, Bottas in 18th, Oscar Piastri in 19th, and Zhou Guan Yu in P20. That's how that goes. Right, let's see what Crofty and Crew have got to say ahead of the sprint race, shall we?
This weekend, it's something a little bit different, as the Grand Prix grid is decided by more racing in today's eagerly anticipated sprint. Of course, this is the first sprint of the season, adding an extra challenge for the drivers and their teams. But as ever, in Formula One, an extra challenge is an extra opportunity.
Points go to the top finishers in the sprint, and with no mandatory pit stops, it's all about the racing on the track.
So let's see then how the teams tackle today's sprint, here in Baku.
Obviously, the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed I skipped over a practice session for that because I didn't think you cared. I certainly didn't care, so, you know, why mince our words? Right, we've got 17 laps, and I have got a new set of softs, which will quite handily go to the end of a sprint race, and probably on a bit of a push, to be honest. That's not an impossibility. I think I want to take an extra lap of fuel and push, and we'll see on tyres what we're doing as well, because I think that's going to be a key thing for us. I think we can probably make it to the end on a sort of slight push pace, but we'll have a little look at what we can do with that. Push pace is going to say, to be fair, we can attack all the way and not be dying too much, so I think that's what we're going to do with K-Mag, because let's see if we can get ourselves some more positions. It is supposed to be a sprint after all, so let's not mess around. Let's just go and sprint it with K-Mag. I'm going to have to be a little bit more conservative with Nico. It depends if I'm going to use a set of softs in the race. I'm probably not going to use a set of softs in the race, realistically speaking. So I think strategy-wise, we might actually just do exactly the same thing and push a brand new set of tyres to the end, because Nico should have a fresh set. And if he doesn't, that's tough. We will still push it, whichever his best set of tyres is to the end, and hope for the very, very best. So, looks like we are on the freshest set we have. Yeah, that is the freshest set we have. That's absolutely fine. I think that's going to make it to the end quite comfortably. Let's put that extra lap of fuel in for Nico as well, and we'll go full push from the start see if we can pick up some positions on the grid for the race. Good opportunity for us. Hopefully we will be in a good position to get the point here today. We'll soon find out. Let's go back to the track and see what Crofty and Croon have got to say this time.
Our sprint today sees the drivers take on 17 laps of the Baku city circuit.
Expect to see plenty making the most of Baku's long, wide main straight. That's going to be their best chance to overtake and secure a strong result.
So then, it's time to see who wants that victory the most. Now's the time for the sprint here in Baku. And it's lights out and away we go.
Okay, so we're underway in Baku. I'm just trying to adjust the sound levels in the background because I'm well aware that it will be very, very loud on everyone's ears. It looks like Magnussen has got himself into a fight with Gasly, but he's having a look around the outside. Can we get a good early overtake done? Well, looks like we will do. Excellent traction by Magnussen to get onto the back of his teammate. Seems like everyone is probably going for this same just push to the end, sprint strategy, which is going to be very, very useful for all of us. Jump on board with our lead car, Nico Hülkenberg, because he ultimately is going to be the man who leads whatever point scoring charge we'll be able to get today. Remember, it is points for the top 8 today, which is something we're familiar with from last season at Williams, where we had that issue. There's been a safety car deployed, though. That is going to be very helpful to us. We'll find out what has caused the safety car. I think it must have been behind us, because there's no good reason it wouldn't have been it would have been anywhere else. I can't see a car crashed ahead. Doesn't mean there isn't one. But I guess we'll find out in a second. Let's just drop everything down to conserve and harvest and all that good malarkey, and we'll see what pops up in terms of the outcome of that crash. Someone behind us for sure. Big bottleneck behind us. It looks like a couple of cars out at least. Let's see what's going on here. We are focused on Esteban Ocon, who has had a coming together with Nick De Vries that's put him in the wall. I think Nick De Vries himself has been put in the wall. Looking at the mini-map, what I'm seeing there, I think I was probably looking at something very, very similar, to be honest. Red flag, because everyone has got bottled up. Tsunoda and Ocon are out. We've got ourselves a red flag on the race, and that gives us a very interesting opportunity. It was Tsunoda, not De Vries, who punted him into the shadow realm and then ended up blocked on the track, caused the red flag, and now we have some thinking to do on our red flag, because this is going to be serious business for us. Do we have any fresher tyres we can bolt onto the car? I'm not looking to change the strategy as such, but if I can put some slightly fresher tyres on, I will do that, because ultimately this is the only race we're going to use them in. I think the tyres we can put on Hülkenberg there, slightly better. Good stuff. We're just going to keep pushing the way we were pushing and absolutely hope we can leather it to the end. The session has been stopped, but we are about to get back underway from the grid. Crofty's going to do a little lights out and away we go, I'm sure, but I've already turned the sound down so we won't hear it. Lights out, away we go. We're on board with K-Mag and the boys. Let's get everyone doing the pushing. That's going to be important to get us to the end. I will say that for certain. Get everyone pushing and deploying and all that good stuff. I also realised that the restart is a good opportunity for us, because I forgot to tell our boys, to use the overtake battle assist, which is going to be vital for getting places in this race. But also, because I forgot to tell our two drivers that they could go aggressive on the overtake, which is something we wanted to see early on as well. I mean, luckily Magnussen was already aggressive on the overtake, but let's get ourselves back to trackside now, and hopefully we'll get a good start. Let's get this one underway properly. Hülkenberg, it seems, already taken 8th off the grid, just gone flying for it. Got a better getaway than Hamilton, and now he's trying to chase on to the back of George Russell, who's in a fight with Lance Stroll. Hamilton coming back at us, but we will keep pushing, we will keep fighting, we will keep doing what we need to do. We need to get our screens back on, looking at what resources we have left to drive with, but we are staying in touch with George Russell, looking pretty good. Magnussen has dropped behind Hamilton and Gasly, who is on a flyer at the restart, but Hulkenberg in the points, which is something we all like to see, and hopefully that can be a situation that continues. We'll keep things pushing. I'm going to stay on board with Magnussen because I think Hulkenberg is sort of out of the fight and we can keep an eye on if anyone tries to make a move on him. But for now, we're doing very, very tastily. And can Magnussen get himself past the sitting duck that looks like Lewis Hamilton? Not quite yet, but he's definitely having a sniff. He's definitely feeling it. I think that's safe to say. Hulkenberg doing very well to keep himself pushed away as well, which is nice. But we're going to just try keep hold of that 8th place. We're going to go for this push across the line on Hamilton. We haven't got there yet, but we're going to keep sniffing around the back of him, keep trying to get ourselves in the top 10. That is the mission at the end of the day. And there we go. We're up and away and we're past him. Hulkenberg's dropped behind Gasly in the meantime. Tyres are screaming out, but we need to keep pushing. So we're going to keep pushing and hopefully we can get ourselves back into these points, back past Gasly, because DRS, I think, becomes active at the end of this lap. And we're going to need that to be the case because Gasly is keeping us in touch with George Russell. It's going to be a very, very vital situation for us. We are keeping ahead of Hamilton. Good intervals there. We're looking okay. Our drivers are coming back together, which will be nice. Keep them in the DRS train, ready for when DRS gets activated. Hopefully, very, very soon at the end of this lap, we are going to go to neutral with both of our drivers on the DRS, or the ERS, I should say. Try and keep ourselves in a good fight. Hopefully, we'll use each other to play leapfrog and get ourselves through the DRS. So Magnussen has unleashed DRS on Hulkenberg. Hopefully he will find his way past. He hasn't done, but we're in a good place to have a good incentive to keep ourselves just chugging along. We're hoping to take advantage of any mistakes that get made by the cars in front. We're hoping to get that game of leapfrog going down the main straight that will pull us closer to Gasly and further from Norris. I think we're going to do a quick zoom and we'll see if we can get that done. Safety car back out. Beautiful chance to cool our tyres off, which is something we're obviously very keen to do and get ourselves recharged. We'll find out again what that's for. Safety cars at Baku are, of course, part of the tradition, but red flags at Baku are not unheard of either. Don't know if we'll get another one. Don't know what's happened behind us. We'll find out in a second. Nick De Vries has put it in the wall. That is what's happened, and he's put it in the wall fighting Lewis Hamilton. Have they had a coming together? They've not. Oh, they may have touched. They may have. I don't know how Nick De Vries got that far up the field, but they may have touched there, and that will certainly cause problems going forward. Definitely causes problems for Nick De Vries because he will be out of this race. I'm almost certain of it. But bringing the field back together, giving us a chance to get these tyres cooled down, giving us a chance to recharge the batteries. All these things are positives for us. I mean, it will build the gap, but also we may see some cars coming in here, taking advantage of the safety car to get fresh parts if they've been damaged in that race, also in that incident. Getting themselves, it looks like Hamilton wasn't damaged, or if he was, he's just decided to go with it. No one into the pits this time round. We're going to zoom forward to the restart, get ourselves ready to go again. Hopefully safety car in this lap is a message we're about to get. It's not. We're keeping the safety car out one more lap. We are going to keep pushing till the end because our tyres are cooling off in a way that will help us all out immensely. Still no safety car in. They're doing a big clear. It's going to be a 10-lap sprint to the end. That's what we're looking for. 10-lap sprint to the end would do me nicely if we can get pushing past Gasly and hold it. Are we saying we are fully ready to go? Not quite yet. There we go. Race controller saying safety car ending. Let's get everything in attack mode. Ready to go again. We are going to keep the push up. We're going to keep the fight up. We're going to get ourselves to the end of this Grand Prix. Do not panic. And we are going to do it in style under a safety car, which hopefully will get a good overtake early on the back of Pierre Gasly, We are sort of holding the gap. We're ready to go. We're just waiting for Charles Leclerc to push himself. And there we go. We're away. And can we get the overtake done quickly over the line? That's what we're really looking for. Really quick, almost ideally instant overtake on Pierre Gasly, just to get ourselves up into P8. We are going to start pushing, I think, on the second straight rather than the first one, because there's just not enough room once you cross the line to get an overtake done off the safety car there. We're going to stay close. We're going to keep him honest, which is all we can really hope to do. Let's keep ourselves pushing. Get the DRS button down. Can we get ourselves past Pierre Gasly? Even if we keep him honest, we're doing okay here. We're going to go for a look at the inside. It looks like Nico Hülkenberg was having a little look, didn't decide to take the move. Magnussen obviously staying behind him, holding station, which need to build that gap on Norris again. But we just need that one cheeky overtake, that one cheeky point from this weekend could make all the difference in the constructors come the end of the season. And we are well on our way to hunting it down. That's the plan at least. We'll see how things go, but we're going to do our best to get there. And we are pushing on Pierre Gasly. Let's double the speed. Let's get ourselves through this. Hopefully, we will get ourselves on overtake mode as soon as the DRS opens. We'll be there, able to stay in the rear wing. That was really close. Don't think we made contact. I think it was just the game clipping. But that did scare me a little bit. It's worse in double time as well. But we need to keep ourselves on the back here, as I said, of Gasly. Get ourselves in the train. Stroll has been dropped by Russell, which is really good for us because that could be extra points for the taking. If we can keep Lance Stroll vulnerable without losing any places ourselves, we are going to be in quite a solid position coming through to the next few laps. As Lando Norris will be having a little look at Magnussen, will go to the off-board and put it back into regular time, because otherwise it makes everyone feel queasy. Hülkenberg and Magnussen have got DRS open. We're trying to close down on Gasly. They're having a switch of places. Magnussen feels like he should be the lead driver and he's gone for it. Hopefully they'll stay out of each other's way and just have a nice clean bit of racing. But most importantly, we're dropping Lando Norris and we're trying to keep ourselves on the back of Kevin Magnussen. I don't mind the boys fighting here. That's fine. As long as they don't lose too much time, they can fight all they like. I say as long as they don't lose too much time fighting. As long as they don't hit each other as well. Obviously, that would be ideal for us. But we are doing well to stay in touch. As long as we stay in touch through the castle section, we should be fine, because that will be where there are extra points to be had for us, and hopefully extra wins. Well, I say extra points. I'd like to get in 7th and 8th. That will be the ideal. Drop Norris, get in 7th and 8th is kind of what we're looking for here. We're going to go on board with K-Mag because we need to. We're going to drop the ERS down to a neutral because we're about to completely empty the battery, which is not ideal, but hopefully DRS will do its job for us. Gasly has been dropped by Stroll, so hopefully a sitting duck for both our drivers down this long DRS straight. We'll see what happens. K-Mag is going to get the first shot. Let's go to the off-board so we can see what's happening here. K-Mag with the off-board. What can he do with the first shot with DRS? Although it looks like Hülkenberg has taken an alternative line. Thought he'd have a look as well. As Magnussen goes round the outside of Pierre Gasly, I said he was a sitting duck, but Gasly might have better traction into turn 1. He doesn't, and he's made it stick. Magnussen has lost DRS. Hülkenberg will have it, and hopefully we can use that to get the cars closer. Next time around, we will have another go and keep ourselves solid. Keep ourselves in there. The castle section, I don't think it's going to be a good overtake spot for us, so we'll just kind of rush ourselves through to when the DRS will reopen again for Kevin Magnussen and for Hülkenberg. Let's go on board with Hülkenberg. He's going to have the best view of what's going on ahead of him. Hopefully he will close in on Gasly here, even if Magnussen doesn't find a way past him, although Magnussen, I expect, will keep fighting all the way to the end for any points he can get. Hülkenberg, it looks like, can deploy as well, which is going to be really useful. Get that deployment going. We have done a good job of rebuilding the battery. We're going to push, try and pass. Can we do it? Magnussen having a look around the outside of Gasly. He's going to try and make it stick into turn 3. Will he keep his nose in front? It looks like he has done. And we are back in the points. And now Hülkenberg needs to get in there and hopefully be able to be the rear gunner, because I don't know if there are more points on the board for us than this, but if we have both of our cars defending, once we get ahead of Gasly, he shouldn't be able to pass both of them, you'd like to think. And I'm just happy to hold on for a single point, quite frankly, in the sprint race. That would do us nicely. But we just need to get that done first. Magnussen is doing his best to keep pushing on, it's got to be said. So hopefully he'll build that gap. He'll get himself feeling a little bit more excited to get himself down the track, down the field a bit. I am tempted to cool these tyres off, see if that provides any gains. I'll try and work out what the other drivers will be doing. They are probably starting to cool their tyres off, so we'll drop down into a standard once we get ourselves past. We'll put Hulkenberg on standard now, actually. That's a good shout, just because we can preserve his tyres for a push at Gasly, cool them off a little bit, and then hopefully there'll be some gains to be made by doing that. We'll wait till Magnussen gets himself back into the castle section before we try anything dramatic with him. He's getting all the push he can get at this stage, so we're going to hope we can do something with that, cool his tyres off, get himself back in the race a little bit, and then maybe we are able to get ourselves pushed through. I said Hulkenberg is doing a cool off of the tyres, but I think that's to his benefit if we can get some good traction through the castle section, keep ourselves on the back of Gasly, who I would say is definitely still pushing his tyres. We may be alright, but Gasly going for another look at the inside of Magnussen, who's going to get overtaken. Hold his line for the inside though, keep his nose in, and we will have Magnussen now on the back as well, it looks like, of Lance Stroll. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong car, that's why it's looking weird. He is on the back of Lance Stroll. It's safe to say he is still involved in the fight, but let's just cool our tyres down through the castle section. Bit of micromanagement, but that's okay because that will help us all out. I don't know why I've paused it entirely. There we go, good stuff. Let's get the attack on the tyres as we come back out of here, because we're going to need it, quite frankly. Hulkenberg is doing well just to cool his tyres down. He is staying involved in the fight, staying active, trying to build that gap with Magnussen to Gasly, which is really the key to our success rate in the race, is just keep Gasly behind Magnussen and hopefully try and get the Hulk ahead of him to do his big defensive effort to win a point for the team. I know, frankly, a safety car right now would be excellent because I feel like that would bring us to the end of the race quite neatly, able to keep the tyres cool. We'll jump on board with Magnussen. We'll go to the off-board because we've got Gasly around the outside of us. Are we going to hold ourselves in front though? Probably not. It looks like it's time to deploy some more battery, I think, to really try and get this overtake to stick or get this position to stay. And we are going to keep nose in front of Gasly. We're looking okay. We are ahead. We've stayed ahead. And Magnussen is up and away and good and ready to go. And we are holding station very nicely from Pierre Gasly. And Hulkenberg does need to get his overtake done. We're going to get his tyres back under control, his temperatures back under control. Magnussen is going to have to do his bit here. Drop back down to neutral. I'm not wasting any battery here if I can help it, because that would be counterintuitive as we head down the main straight. Gasly has been dropped. Gasly has lost DRS. We can get on board with Hulkenberg. Gasly shouldn't have DRS at this point. Don't think he does. We certainly do. Magnussen's got DRS on Lance Stroll. Just to bring things all back into perspective, I think it might be time to start the pushing again with Nico Hulkenberg. Let's bring the pace back up, bring everything back up, get ourselves up and past Gasly, and we're on our way, and we're going to have Hulkenberg do the defensive job of a lifetime, I think, here. That's going to be the plan. Up the inside, beautiful stuff, and Hulkenberg will hold the position, keep himself pushing on. And Magnussen now looking for making a move on Lance Stroll to get himself up into 7th. And this is why I've started pushing, because I feel like if Hulkenberg can find the push to get himself onto the back of Magnussen, he'll follow through on Stroll. And we can get ourselves a double points finish in the sprint race, which is going to be probably the key to just be taking some happiness away from the weekend. As well, obviously, as getting ourselves a top 10 start for the Grand Prix tomorrow, which is going to be really important. Top 10 feels like it's booked in because Norris is not going to catch up to Gasly in 3 laps. Let's go double speed just to bring things back up to where we will be at least in the battle with Stroll coming through DRS. we should hopefully get the battle through. I'm aware it's going to be a long episode. It's 2 races. I can't help it. I'm really sorry, guys. DRS Open. Can we get this pass done on Lance Stroll? Can Hulkenberg hold off on Pierre Gasly? He is building the gap to Gasly quite nicely, it has to be said. Let's go for a bit of a deploy coming up through here, just to see what we can get done. But we're going to tell Hulkenberg to do a deploy as well, because we need to get this position. We're getting the position done on Lance Stroll, and we are up and away, and hopefully onto the back of George Russell very soon. He's in a battle with Fernando Alonso, which just makes things all the more tasty, as K-Mag pushes his way up into the 7th place. Hulkenberg is going to keep trying to drop Gasly. We are going to be on the back of George Russell as we get to the DRS zone, and this last lap is going to be something very special, so we're going to keep ourselves pushing through. Battery is drained, so we're going to drop down to a neutral just because we can, and hope that we have got the DRS to pull ourselves free. Hopefully Hulkenberg will stay clear of Gasly. Looks like he will, which is going to be vital. And if he can do that, who knows what will happen on this last lap that is about to begin. But we are just trying to get Magnussen up in front of George Russell. That would be the ideal, or at least to get sort of concertinaed up onto the back of George Russell as he tries to make a pass on Alonso. That will be great for us. We just need to use the DRS to our advantage, push ourselves through, keep ourselves safe. We are going for it. K-Mag going to go for a look on the back of George Russell is his plan. I'm going to take something special through the castle section, but we're going to go full deploy with everything as well, just to really try and get whatever we can out of this last lap. Anything we can get here is going to be a blessing, and we're looking for it. We are pushing for it. Magnussen going for a look up the back of George Russell. He's not going to quite get through, but he is going to keep pushing. Both our drivers are going to keep pushing. Hulkenberg trying to hold on to 9th for the grid for tomorrow's race. Magnussen trying to take 6th for the grid for tomorrow's race, and the extra point that comes with that. It's all to play for here in Baku, and we are pushing our way through the last lap. He's having a look. George Russell forced to shut the door, forced to defend on us from rather than attacking Alonso, and we could be in with a really good shout here as we go through the final DRS zone. I don't know how much battery there is going to be left for George. I don't much care how much battery is going to be left for George. We're just trying to stay on the back of him and keep him honest going through the DRS zone, drop Lance Stroll through the castle section, and see if there is maybe one more point to be had here for us. Hulkenberg going to be a sitting duck down the back straight. That's going to be fine, though. I'm not going to be stressing too much. We're just going to keep pushing all the way through to the end. Magnussen's been dropped by Russell. We've not had the pace to stay on top, and we may lose a place to Lance Stroll, but we have done what we need to do to book in what will be a really, really good point, if not 2 points, for Kevin Magnussen on the final lap of the sprint race here at Baku. Tyres are overheating, don't care, they'll be screaming all the way to the end. We're just trying to hold on to a position here. Hulkenberg, I think, is going to hold on to his position as well. If he gets past, it'll be at the line. He has made it through. Hulkenberg will start in 9th for the Grand Prix at Baku. Meanwhile, Kevin Magnussen takes 7th place for 2 points. We have done very, very well here, make no mistake. This has been quite the achievement for us at Baku. We've done really well. I can't complain in the slightest, and we are going to get ready for what will be hopefully an excellent, excellent Grand Prix. Looks like Lewis Hamilton, by the way, should have come in for that change of front wing, because finishing 17th is quite embarrassing for him, especially when there was a free pit stop there basically under the safety car. He could have come in, could have come out at the back with a fresh car, made some positions up, probably got himself back into the points. I'm absolutely fine with this though.
Sprint amongst the points.
Plenty for them to think about and strategize, and certainly a good enough result for now.
So, confirmation of the sprint result then. Verstappen takes the 4 points, with Leclerc taking 2nd. Sergio Perez completes the sprint podium. Their Sainz, Alonso, Russell, Magnussen and Stroll are the points winners.
Well, there's nothing quite like it. Welcome along to race day.
Baku has been the scene for some major on-track battles, like Vettel and Hamilton fighting for the lead back in 2017. Will we see more drama this year, I wonder? We've been having sunny weather here today, but there are some clouds looming that might complicate things for teams further down the line.
But for now, though, let's get ready for all the action of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
So we're ready for the race weekend then, and hopefully it will be a good race for us. We would like for that to be the case, I will say that for sure. But let's see what we're going to do strategy-wise. So strategy-wise, we can do the entire race on a set of hards, but we obviously can't do an entire race on a set of hards. So it's going to be a case of working out which is the faster of our strategies. I would like to think that pushing hard on a set of softs, followed by pushing hard on a set of mediums or a set of hards would do it for us. But I do want to just see, is there a better strategy? Is there a better strategy to be had if we can go from a set of softs to a set of mediums? Because I think we've probably got the car to do it. Let's get that time down as low as we can. We've got the car to be able to pull that off, which is incredibly cheeky, but I'm not against it, and that's the thing. I'm not against that as a plan. Is there more time to be gained by doing that, and then we can push our pit stop lap up a little bit, just to make sure we don't burn our tyres out there? I think we're going to do that, you know. I think that's going to be strategy D in the books. That will help us out immensely. That will keep us, obviously if there's a safety car anywhere, we can switch the strategy up early, but it looks like a set of mediums will go quite far into the race anyway, so that's not the worst problem in the world to have, and we can start on the mediums, so that's perfect. Right, and then what we'll do is we'll do the alternative for Nico, because that's, I don't know why there's even a two-stop suggested. We'll do the alternative for Nico, and we'll push on the first stint, and we'll go with a medium stint, and we'll see how far the mediums will actually go into the race then. Mediums will go, they're saying it's faster to go pushing on the mediums. Let's do that. Let's just go with let's go with a bookend strategy. We'll go with everything. We'll be fine, and hopefully we'll be good to go until the end of the race by doing this, and then that looks like it's going to be a good strat. We'll do that. Both cars, same thing, they're going to come in at different pit laps because they've got different levels of tyre wear on the tyres available. So obviously Kevin Magnussen still has that 99% tyre, that's beautiful, and Hulkenberg has his 94, is that the best he can do? It is the best he can do. That's fine. We are going to do that, hope for the best. We're going to push our fuel up by 2 laps. I feel like 2 laps is going to be the key today, and we're going to just go pushing on the fuel and pushing on the ERS and hoping for the absolute best we can get out of the car. That is a good plan. We are going to be okay, I think. We're going to get ourselves some points. I feel it. I don't know why I feel it. I just feel it. There's going to be points in the water today, boys. That's what's going to happen. Let's go back to Caroon and Crofty.
Final checks have been carried out on the grid, and it won't be long until we get underway. And the cameras now shift to Sergio Perez, concentrating on the race ahead.
It's a promising position for them starting in P3. They'll be looking to make the most of the slipstream.
And it'll be exciting to see just what will happen here today. This is what you've been waiting for. It's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And we're underway here in Baku again for the second race of the episode. Magnussen and Hulkenberg going for a push. In fact, before we get ourselves fully on the push, let's make sure we have told the boys to go high aggression and indeed to use their overtake mode, because they are going to need to gain the places early in today's race. I can tell you that much for free. If they don't gain them early, they won't gain them at all, because a safety car in this race changes absolutely everything. And we're just going to have to hope for the best. So, on board now with Magnussen. He has lost a place to Stroll straight away. I'm not stressed about that. We are on the better tyre, so that shouldn't be a problem. And hopefully we'll make something work here in the early go. But we're getting dropped already, and that's a bit of a concern, a little bit of a concern, but a bit of a concertina up front as well. We're not going to worry too much. We're going to stay in the fight until the very end. I think anyone on mediums is pushing, and anyone on softs is probably holding on. We are going for a little bit of an alt strategy for this one. So let's not lose too much sleep over how that's going to go for us just yet. We're just going to keep pushing, hoping for the best, keep ourselves at least involved in the fight for as long as we possibly can. We are comfortably in the points as things stand, which will do us quite nicely. Magnussen getting dropped a little bit by Stroll. Again, I'm not worried about that, because we are going to be in a good position. We could even, if we get a safety car, stay out, take the track position, keep the softs on, knowing everyone else will be on the hards, and see if we can build a gap to drop into from there. That would do us quite nicely. That's why I'm so happy these softs are going to go long for us. But we are getting dropped, so what we're going to do is we're going to start zooming forward, ready for the DRS zone to come in. Gasly has overtaken Hulkenberg. We'll have a little look at that on the replay, just because I feel like we should know what's going on. He's done it completely without DRS, which is a bit concerning, but he hasn't taken two places at least. We shut the door on him with one of our cars, and we've stayed alongside as best we can. Obviously, DRS will be coming very soon, but we're not going to worry about what the garage is saying either. We've got Hulkenberg, Gasly, and Magnussen all together. We're going to stay with them, stay honest on them. Hopefully, we'll be okay. We're going to stay within the points, because Norris does not have the pace to keep up with us long term. I can say that much for free. Once the DRS opens, he's waiting for a safety car to even rejoin the pack. And we're just kind of waiting for Hamilton to make his way through the cars ahead of him to even have any competition for points, I think, at this stage, as Gasly makes a move on Magnussen as well. Sort of what I expected early on. I'm not going to stress over. Oh, that's very close to the wall from Gasly. Don't know why they're trying to go too wide into the castle section. Let's have a look at that from the off-board, because we should see get a good view of what was going on in the castle section from watching this as well, which is obviously going to be key to us. I say key to us. We've lost the position, but I'm just interested in how very, very close they came. We didn't even get to see it because the camera angle was terrible. Coming through the castle walls, right? We are going to keep on the push for now, because we might get that position back from Gasly. You never know. He has got a gap between him and Stroll that we have kind of helped build. But hopefully he will help us to get back into it. I'm going to tell Hulkenberg to start conserving some ERS, because frankly otherwise there's very little point in doing anything at this point. Hulkenberg is getting caught by Norris, which I don't think I like, but Magnussen is going for a move on Pierre Gasly. Can he make something happen here? He is going for it. DRS has been enabled this lap as well, which is going to make things even more interesting. We're going for it. Can we get ourselves back involved in this fight? We haven't quite done it, but we have stayed close. We've kept him honest. We'll do another lap of deploy with Magnussen just to see if we can get that point back. I might do another lap of deploy with Hulkenberg too, just to try and get ourselves away from Lando Norris. We are going for a look. It looks like Gasly's got his car positioned perfectly on the middle of the track though. Not ideal, especially because Hulkenberg's about to get looked at by Norris as well, but we've got through at least that corner. Are we going to go for a look at the inside here? I feel like Magnussen feels really brave when you tell him to push. And is he going to go for it? He's going to have a look at the inside this time. There's not really a move on there. The switchback isn't going to happen either. Let's just drop down to neutral again and keep ourselves again back just honest, naturally aspirated racing. We're going to zoom forward because I feel like we're just trying to stay ahead of Lando Norris at this point. I think that's really the goal. Keep ourselves ahead of Lando. If we can get Hulkenberg and Magnussen to build their own little mini DRS train to pull away, I think we'll be okay. Lewis Hamilton is still not pulling his way through, by the way. He's not making any inroads at us at all. But Magnussen's still in the DRS train. Let's just keep this train rolling and rolling and rolling, because Hulkenberg is staying far enough ahead of Norris to keep him at least away from Sargent. And if we can get onto the back of get our two cars stacked up, we will be okay. But it looks like Magnussen has stayed in a DRS train of his own with Gasly, keeping him again honest as best he can. It looks like Hulkenberg's just got enough to stay ahead of Lando under any circumstances, including DRS, which I think is something we'll welcome until the end. We're just going to keep this wagon rolling. Magnussen has taken Gasly. Looks like it was under DRS from the positioning on the track. It was under DRS. He has got it into turn 3, it looks like. And Lando behind, by the way, having a little look at Hulkenberg, but he's not going to get there. But Kevin Magnussen is through. We're all happy. We're going to keep the wagon rolling, I think, in full speed mode, because that battle will keep going until the end. I think it's going to be a case of who does what with pit stops. But as I said, we're going long into this first stint on the softs. We're doing it on purpose because there will be positions to gain. If people come in for a safety car as well, we stay out, we'll be absolutely laughing on the restart, I would like to think. Or if it's long enough into the race, we can just make the switch over. We'll make the switch over onto mediums. We're going to keep this train rolling, 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 because there is nothing to gain now. Magnussen has dropped Norris. Hulkenberg has dropped Norris. Magnussen is in a fight with Gasly, having been dropped by Stroll. We are just kind of hoping we can help each other push ourselves back up into striking distance of Lance Stroll. But I'm not overly worried if we don't. I think we'll get him in the second stint. Lance Stroll must be burning those tyres through to even have a fighting chance of being winning. How has Ocon overtaken Hulkenberg? Let's have a look at that, because he shouldn't even have been in the fight. I don't know how he's got himself up there. He must have got himself... see, now we're in trouble, because Ocon has got himself into the top 10, having got himself past Hulkenberg. But also on the back there, we can see there is a fight going on between Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton, who has finally found his way through. That gives me concerns for the rest of the race. It has to be said. It does give me concerns. We're going to go back to deploying. That's what we're not doing. We're not deploying enough. Let's get some more deployment going. Get ourselves into the fight again, because it looks like these mediums are hanging on really well. If, as I say, I think Stroll is pushing them. But Stroll could be on for a good finish, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I think we're looking at just trying to claim some points. Stroll on for a good finish. We'll see if we can get ourselves back ahead of Ocon, and we have back into the points. We're just stuck in a little bit of a fight, both ends of the field, with Alpine cars. But that's not shameful, honestly. I think if we're equal to the Alpines, we're probably doing okay at this stage in the season, and we are still pushing on with development of more car parts, so we're not exactly struggling long term. We've run out of battery, which is going to be an issue, but as long as we've managed to build a gap to Ocon again, we'll be okay. Looks like we have done, so again, without ERS, we are dead in the water to Ocon, I think, certainly to Hamilton. But with ERS, we might just have enough to keep ourselves going. We are going to have to drop down to saving a little bit of fuel, though. That's going to be an issue. We'll push the fuel again once we get the new tyres on. We'll go for a full push from the pit stop onwards. But we have been overtaken by Ocon. We've entered our pit window already, which is actually a blessing, because we can start burning these tyres. And hopefully that will help us out strategy-wise. Someone's coming. Ocon is coming already, trying to undercut Hulkenberg. Probably a smarter decision than he realises, but, we'll not judge him just yet. I am just thinking now, do I want to cover him off? I think I do. I think I want to cover him off on this lap, and we'll be a bit more conservative with the mediums than we were going to be. Just to try and stay safe, stay alive in this race with Hulkenberg. I think we need to be a little bit safer, a little bit more pushing. We're not going to worry about using battle assist in this one, because we just want to burn through the ERS get ourselves as close to Gasly and as far from Hamilton as we can. I think that's going to be wise. We'll stick to the planned pit window for Magnussen because he should get there fairly comfortably on that big push on his tyres. We're going to be okay. Tyre pit stop in 2.5. Beautiful. That's what we trained for. That's what we've achieved. And it looks like Hamilton, Norris and Piastri, double stack for McLaren, have come in with us. That's beautiful. And we've come out ahead of Ocon, who's got held up by Logan Sargent. Absolutely perfect idea to do that. We're going to drop down to saving ourselves a little bit of everything though, because that's going to be helpful towards the end. These tyres aren't going to get to the end on hard. They will get to the end on aggressive, so that's what we're going to try and do with Hulkenberg. Beautiful stuff. We are well away in this race now. We're well underway for some good strategy moves. Magnussen has had a Ferrari drop in front of him, even with a pit stop issue for Carlos Sainz. Let's have a little look-see-doodle at that, because that'll be interesting. Sainz making the pit stop. What's gone wrong here? It looks like there has been a jack issue. Looks like there was a jack issue for Carlos Sainz. That's going to have cost him any chance of winning the race. Not that he had any, of course. Verstappen was clear. So, you know, a second certainly cost him a podium. We're going to keep pushing with K-Mag because I am not against the idea of us doing that. Let's do a deploy just to see if we can get ourselves onto the back of Sainz. Take advantage of any little bit of DRS we can get. That's going to be ideal. Ocon has got himself ahead of Hulkenberg somehow. Not ideal, but again, we are just trying to push through. I don't think Sargent has made a stop yet. He hadn't. In fact, neither Williams has made a stop yet. That's good. We've made our one stop of the race, and we're just fighting out for the last place on the in the points at this stage. Obviously, Magnussen and Gasly are probably going to drop in somewhere near that as well, but that's okay. That's fine. We are doing exactly what we set out to do, and that will keep us honest at this stage in the Grand Prix. Right, we're going to keep ourselves going now. We're going to give Hulkenberg battle assist because he's going to need it to just keep himself involved, I think, with Ocon. And Magnussen, we're just waiting for his ideal pit stop lap. It looks like Alonso has come in. He'll come out behind us, possibly behind Hulkenberg. I don't know. Don't know if Hulkenberg's done enough to undercut Alonso. He's probably done enough to... well, Alonso could be in the fight there. Right, we'll keep Magnussen now onto a set of mediums. We're going to keep pushing hard on the tyres. That was always the plan anyway. Big push on the in-lap just to get ourselves as far up the road as we can do. We are coming out ahead, I believe, of Alonso, are we not? We are. Magnussen comes out ahead of Alonso, who's come on a set of softs. That's okay, though. I'm not against that. That's going to be... I mean, he's not in our fight anyway, but maybe Gasly feels like fighting him. And if Gasly feels like fighting Alonso, that could be very helpful for us. I don't think Gasly has pit yet, has he? Has Gasly come in? He hasn't come in yet. So, that could be the fight we're looking at here. That could be the real battle. Talking of the real battle, we have a real battle going on with Hulkenberg and Ocon down the back straight. We've lost that position again. We're not going to worry too much about it because we're going to get everything back for it. Let's see how Magnussen looks coming into his pit stop, though. That's going to be an important piece of data for us. We'll get him out the pits and hopefully get him out the pits. Well, come out the pits ahead of Pierre Gasly. That'll be nice. If he comes out, they both come out ahead of Ocon. That's even better because Ocon looks like he's in a scrappy mood. He looks like he'll scrap his teammate. Another 2.5 pit stop here would be excellent. How are we going to look coming out of that? 2.55 again, dead on, and that will put us well up there in the DHL fastest pit stop runnings. 13th, that's all right, that's fine. It's not points, but it's up there. We are slowly getting closer, and we're going to drop back down to neutral here. We're going to drop back down to a bit of a fuel save as well, just because we can. We're going to keep pushing to the end. And hopefully that has got us through and looking good on everything until the end of the race. We're going to keep ourselves just pushing on, see if Russell drops in any closer to us. He doesn't drop very close to us, but we are going to be catching him. Has anyone actually come out? This is the next big question I have. Has anyone come out on hard tyres? No one has gone to a set of hards, but we do have a set of softs. There's a late safety car for both our drivers, I believe. Tyre temps are not great, but that's understandable. Trading fastest laps with Sainz and Perez, apparently, is the latest trend, but that's okay. Let's go back to our intervals because we're going to need to see them to know what's going on track. Looks like Hulkenberg is settled into 11th, looking to just pick up a point if someone has an issue. Magnussen has sort of dropped behind Gasly, but again, I'm not stressing over that because we've got a lot of race to go, a lot of Grand Prix to go. We can save up our battery for when we really need it. Magnussen is going to stay close to Gasly through DRS zones. So, again, that extra couple of points could be on the cards for us. Everything's overheating. I get it, boys. I understand perfectly. Tyres are overheating. That's going to happen. I did have a half thought in my head at one stage. It would have been interesting to just do a lap on whatever tyre I went out on and bring them in for hards to the end. But I don't think there's any pace in the hards here at all. With Magnussen going again into battle with Gasly, who'll lose it immediately the second the DRS rear wing opens. But he's in there still. He's still in that fight. We are sort of just hoping for an incident at this stage to provide any kind of excitement. It's not been the most thrilling race, I don't think. We're just watching DRS get traded back and forth with Gasly and Magnussen, but that's probably going to help with the episode time. So, we'll take the win where we can get the win as Hulkenberg passes Ocon. Beautiful stuff. Hulkenberg has found a way past Esteban Ocon. That is nice. We are keeping the Alpines honest on race pace. That is what we've been trying to do the entire time. And yes, there is a fight going on there for both of our drivers. There will be a fight going all the way to the end, but it's going to be a case of who crosses the line first and where that is going to matter. We are saving up our ERS. We are saving up our tyres. Let's give Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's got battle assist. Magnussen, I assume, must not be on battle assist. Let's use that for him as well. And just try and keep ourselves to the end of the Grand Prix as best we can, involved in that fight with the Alpines. We'll take as many points off them as we can. Watch the clock tick away, and then as we get late on in the race, we'll really start pushing to take those points back off them. Magnussen is occasionally coming a second ahead of Gasly, getting outside of DRS, which is really nice to see. And I think we're probably in striking distance now of let's just drop the deploy for Hulkenberg and let's give him the fuel. Sure, let's give him some fuel to use. Why not? How's he looking on the... Looking okay on tyres? Good, right, okay. This is where things get interesting. If we can get Hulk pushing on to get away from Ocon, to truly drop Ocon, get into a fight with Gasly, we are actually in a great position. We're in a really good position. If we can use a couple of bursts of ERS and the extra fuel to get ourselves on the back of Pierre Gasly before the checkered flag, we could be doing very, very sterling work here. I am conscious of the fact that Magnussen has got that extra fuel to burn, but he's not at risk from Gasly just yet. There is kind of a bit of cat and mouse at play here. We're going to try and use that fuel to drop Gasly as best we can. We'll almost immediately drop down once we get back on top of it, of course, but we are still trying to keep ourselves pushed to the end. I think we can probably conserve the tyres a touch with Magnussen at this point, just because there's no point in burning them out. We're going to have to keep Hulkenberg burning his tyres to the end, but we're not going to worry too much about burning out tyres for Magnussen, because Hulkenberg is within striking distance. Make no mistake, Hulkenberg is in striking distance of Pierre Gasly if he wants to be. He just needs to get himself up there, get himself pushed on a little bit. We'll get the fuel back down for Magnussen just to keep him honest. We'll keep an eye on everything else because we're not really worried about a big push. We're just trying to, as I said, keep honest. Keep Gasly honest here. We are doing well to just stay in touch. We can just kind of cruise it a little bit now. We're going to be alright to the end. We're fine on tyres. We're not going to worry too much. Gasly is getting a little bit close for comfort for Magnussen now. So we'll go back to the pushing. And you can see they are close enough to be in the same camera shot. It looks like there's someone's involved there with... what's going on with Gasly? Is he about to get lapped? Try to get on board with Magnussen to see. There must be lapping going on. Yeah, so Hamilton is about to get past. Not sure why there's a car behind Gasly. I don't see why, because that's not Hulkenberg. He's not close enough. Oh, maybe he's lapped Tsunoda? Is that a possibility? It is a possibility he's just lapped Tsunoda and that's what we're witnessing there. That's fine. I could find out, I suppose, by just going to Gasly's onboard. What's going on there? Let's have a look over his rear wing. I think that is Yuki Tsunoda he's lapped. Okay, that makes more sense. Right, let's just worry about pushing to the end now. We are very much involved and there has been some overtaking going on. We're going to keep ourselves pushed a little bit more there. We're going to let Magnussen have the deploy as we go on to the last lap. That's going to be very vital for us. That's going to be something we need to focus on doing. We're going to let Hulkenberg push the rest of these tyres out because there's nothing to lose, everything to gain. If he can get on the back of Gasly as we get on to the last lap, we are actually okay. We're in a solid position and that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to achieve that. So we're going to keep pushing until we cross the line now, and then hopefully we'll be able to push the fuel on the last lap for both our drivers, maybe just to try and secure the points. We'll be okay. I would love it if Gasly binned it, or any car in the top 10 that we don't own, honestly, was to bin it. But we can't rely on it. We're going to keep pushing, keep pushing. There's a race winner already. That's fine. Charles Leclerc somehow has won the race. I didn't even see that coming because I was so focused on our drive. We are staying, though, well within bounds. I feel like Tsunoda must have finished by now. He must have actually must just be dead weight on the track. But if he gives us DRS, that's not a problem because we'll take the extra speed, the extra time, the extra bonus. That's all good. We're going to push the deploy button for Hulkenberg as well, because why not? May as well use it. We're not getting anywhere if we don't, and Magnussen is about to cross the line though for 8th place. I feel like he's going to be the big battle we have to worry about. As we get across the start-finish line, we have to drop ourselves down to balance just to get him across the start-finish line. But will Gasly make a cheeky overtake under DRS and take 8th place away from us? I don't think he will. I think K-Mag's got what it takes to get into the pits. He has. Hulkenberg is going to bring it home as well for 10th place. And that is a double points finish in the Grand Prix at Baku. Far more than I expected, if I'm completely honest. And we're about to run into our own teammate. Good stuff. We're just going to stop next to each other, have a little chat, hop over the pit wall. Who cares? That's the race done with. Hamilton will be the last man to cross the line. And we have had an extraordinarily good Grand Prix weekend. Let's see what Croon and Crofty have got to say.
Well, we've lots to talk about today. For the moment, though, there's Joe Guan Yu. Out and onto the podium steps Charles Leclerc, the driver from Monaco, really deserving of that top 3 spot.
And that's win number 1 of the season, and it's sure to provide them with a real confidence boost.
And before they get back to work, I think it's time to cool off here in Azerbaijan. Now, Karun, I'd be really keen to know, how do you think the Haas team will be reflecting on today's results?
They did okay today, I'd say. I mean, we're talking about such a competitive field, and all things considered, the drivers did all right.
Well, everybody, that's all from us here in Baku.
Coming up next, the teams will be taking a trip to the Sunshine State. the Hard Rock Stadium is laying down the track for a captivating race at the Miami Grand Prix.
So we are ready to go then to the Hard Rock Stadium in our next episode. That should be interesting. Confirmation of your top 10 though. Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Alonso, Stroll, Russell, Magnussen, Gasly and Hulkenberg. What's that done for us in the drivers and constructors though? It's put Magnussen up into 10th place. That's a beautiful place to see him. And the constructors, we are sitting in 6th, but we have closed the gap on Alpine. And who knows, maybe 5th place could be on the offing for us. Let's have a look at the fastest pit stop results. Did we get in there? We didn't quite sneak in there, but we were closer than we have been. That's for sure. Fastest pit stop by constructor. We're the only team without a point so far in that one, but that's okay. I wasn't counting on it. But we're not far off. We are in the fight now for the best pit stops. That will help us out immensely. And hopefully we'll have ourselves a good race in Miami. Obviously, going to America as the American team, we are expected to have a good result. That's kind of just how that goes. We've made some money as well, which is always a benefit. We like to make the money. We like to get the cash in the bank. We like for things to be working perfectly for us. And hopefully we'll see a good result ready to come from the next race. We do have some money, so we will go and do some design parts. I think we'll just have a little look, see at what we're doing with the aero testing period. We're good. That's nice because we do need to do some building. Drive development update. Anyone improved in any way, shape or form? Looks like, I don't know why I keep saying his performance rating for control is dropping, but it looks like Kevin Magnussen's slowly getting better, which can't hurt us at all. That's good. That's good to see. Right, let's just do the last piece of car development while we've got the new ATR in the bank, because we're going to need it anyway. What can we get? Engineers available. That's fine. We can fix that because we don't need a new chassis urgently. We've just kind of built it so we'd have one coming. So we'll switch that down to being 1 engineer. We'll stick 4 engineers on whatever we're about to design now. I would like to think what's going to give us what we need. We still need to get that top speed up above all else, which feels like another real wing, but I am just thinking we're second in high-speed corners right now. That's disgraceful. I think probably we're about to need to replace suspensions anyway, so we'll just build a new one. We're going to put a third of our development into this one, I think. This is going to require me to do some maths. That should be about 27. If my brain did that maths fast enough. If it did, I'll be shocked. It didn't. 28, 26 there makes that 29. Yeah, 27, 28. We'll go 28, and that will make the next two 28. Yeah, there we go. I was close. I was close on the maths. Don't judge me. Right, let's go for, again, race performance. We are looking for as much top speed out of this as we can do. If we can drop that down there, we can probably steal a little bit of brake cooling if we're lucky to get ourselves back on an even keel. Can we steal that? We can steal the brake cooling. It will get us some low speed cornering. It's not really helping with the high speed, but that might be okay. There's going to be airflow front, probably going to help there as well. Not really. That's the best we're going to get out of it, I think, for now. That's absolutely fine. I'm not stressing over that. We are going to try and do intense if we have the money. We do have the money. We'll put 4 engineers on it. And that will come in fairly soon, about a month's time. We are going to get a new underfloor for the race after Miami. And then, yeah, we're looking good. We're looking okay, I think, on new parts for development. That's good stuff all round. Have a look at the inbox, make sure there's nothing. Something requires response. Reduced deadline. We can get the underfloor earlier than expected. Absolutely do that, please. Good stuff. That's, in fact, going to come in during the race weekend. That's magic. That's magic. Right. Let's look at what's happened in April in Formula 1, just so we can see what's happening. Technical insights with Aston Martin. Spotlight on Alfa Romeo. Don't think there's much to say there. And obviously championship standings. We already know. Anything else there to see? Nothing to see. Right, one thing actually does need to be looked at is so we can see when that that new part is coming in, we could have that new underfloor on the car by qualifying if I emergency manufacture it. That's interesting. Okay, we'll probably do that. Right, one last thing, I suppose, pit crew development. We have to do a pit crew development. I think I want to go with something a bit more focused. So yes, we do need to do something to focus getting our pit stop time down, but I want to give them the weekend off, which I know seems counterintuitive, but there is a reason for my thinking here, and that is that if I can save them some tiredness, but also make some gains in terms of pit stop time, even marginal gains, that's probably going to lead to better things in terms of race performance. So we'll do that. I don't know why I've got a pit stop drill happening there. That's something I didn't mean to put in there, but that's fine. We'll drop that down so they'll be less fatigued, but also we will get a little bit of a boost on our pit stop time. I think that sounds like a good plan. I think that's a good idea. Just because they get the rest, we get to save a little bit on our pit stop, and hopefully we'll be okay. So that's going to be our pit stop schedule for the rest of the month. Let's wrap things up there. Thank you for watching, guys. I have, as always, been Chasing Langley. This has been our F1 2023 series. Like, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't already, and I will see you all very soon. Till next time, have a good one.